Welcome back to IKAI Academy. A lot of people want to create highly polished, professional images for their social media channels, but they hit a wall because they don't know how to use complex software like Photoshop. You don't need a graphic design degree to solve this. Instead, we are going to use a predictable, step-by-step workflow that takes a simple idea, runs it through an AI prompt, and builds it into a fully branded professional post. AI behaves based on the specificity of your instructions. If you feed the system a basic, unstructured prompt, you get a basic, unpredictable image. To get professional results, we must provide structured directions that control every element of the scene. Look at this split screen. This is the exact same subject matter, generated 3 times. By changing only the stylistic instructions in our prompt, we force the AI to produce 3 completely different styles, from hyper-realistic to a 3D cartoon to cyberpunk. This structural control is what allows us to produce high-end visuals in minutes. By the end of this class, you'll have a repeatable system for creating these assets on demand. Before typing a prompt, define where the image lives: a square Facebook post, a wide YouTube thumbnail, or a vertical Instagram reel. This dictates your aspect ratio and subject arrangement. A great horizontal composition will often cut off important details if squeezed vertically. Let's build a practical example. We are going to design an educational Facebook post, and our topic is teachers utilizing artificial intelligence in the classroom. We will start by seeing how the AI reacts to a standard descriptive sentence. We will ask it for an image showing a teacher using artificial intelligence in a modern classroom, in a realistic style. Here's the result from that basic prompt. It works, but it is flat. The lighting is uninspired, the details are soft, and it lacks the visual depth that makes someone stop scrolling. AI systems are trained on millions of images, so if you don't constrain them, they will default to the most average interpretation of your words. Precise instruction is the only way to get a professional result. Replace the basic sentence with a 6-part formula: subject, environment, lighting, composition, style, and purpose. Specifying ultra-realistic Pakistani teacher in a modern classroom with cinematic lighting adds depth. Adding shallow depth of field, 16:9, and social media campaign readies the framing for marketing. Watch what happens when we generate the image again applying this exact formula. The flat, generic classroom transforms into a highly detailed cinematic scene. Now we verify our dimensions. Because we specified a 16:9 ratio in our prompt, the image perfectly matches our intended format without any awkward cropping. We also need to check our composition for negative space. Look at this shaded area on the left. By framing our subject to the right, we've intentionally left this uncluttered safe zone open, so we have room to add our marketing text and logos later. When you apply a structural formula to a creative tool, you stop gambling on unpredictable AI generation and start producing reliable, purposeful design assets every single time. Now we have a great image, but it doesn't belong to anyone yet. Step 3 is connecting this visual to your specific brand identity by applying your logo. A common mistake here is treating a social media post like a billboard. If you drop a massive, centralized logo right over the main visual content, you immediately ruin the professional look you just built. This split screen shows the difference. On the left, an intrusive watermark distracts from the subject. On the right, a subtle, properly scaled corner logo establishes brand identity without competing for attention. Since most AI image generators don't handle custom typography well, you need to pull this raw image into an external editing tool like Canva to layer your final text. We take our headline and place it strictly within the negative space we reserved earlier. If the text blends into the background, slightly adjust the image contrast or add a faint drop shadow so the words pop off the screen. Before publishing, perform a final readability check scaled down to a mobile screen. Most of your audience will view this on their phones, so your text and your subject must remain perfectly legible at this small size. An AI generation only becomes a true marketing asset when it clearly communicates your message across every device without causing visual friction for the viewer. To recap, your end-to-end workflow relies on 8 elements: purpose, subject, environment, lighting, composition, style, aspect ratio, and finally, branding. The overarching rule of AI generation is this: you cannot just tell the system what objects to draw. You have to tell it exactly how those objects should look stylistically. For today's assignment, pick a topic and write your own 8-element prompt. Head down to the comments and let us know you've completed it by typing, "I want to be an AI image creator." You need to master this static visual framework first. Once you can consistently control an image, you'll be ready for our next lesson, where we transition into generating dynamic AI video advertisements. See you in day 18.